I mean, I have a Danhausen shirt on. If you don't like Danhausen's wrestling in general, whatever, he's
fuck that. If anybody does not like Danhausen,
well, let's talk. Let's give Danhausen some credit here. First, he's one of the hottest things in wrestling today.
Absolutely.
I have never ever seen a Danhausen match, and I think most of his fans have not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just love
what?
it.
I've seen tons of Danhausen matches.
I bet a lot of his fans haven't seen an actual match. It's just this fucking Danhausen guy and his videos and his merch.
It's true.
And his aura, and he's
he's such a kind person. We became friends last year during the pandemic because we're both like toy nerds, and I was like, hey. Is this weird if I want to be friends? Because I feel like I always see like on your stuff on Twitter, you're looking for things. I get Hasbro comps. If you would just want something, I can like just send you. Is that cool? And he's like, oh yeah, holy shit, wow. No one. So I introduced him and Warhorse to Todd McFarlane and just like figure it out. But Todd doesn't give a shit about these guys, but they're entertaining and they're personal enough like that. But even when I interviewed him from GameSpot, I was like, what is your finisher move again? I totally forgot. Show me. Shit, that's on me. And he's like, it's just to go to sleep, but it's the good Nighthausen. I'm like, yeah, all right.
He has figured it out. He is, at these conventions, he's always killing it. Always a huge line.
Yeah.
And like he appeals to so many different people, and he's unique. He's figured it out. Whatever. I don't know how he came up with this, but he has figured it out.
Well, and on that, Matt, you're Matt Cardona. He's Ken Anderson. You guys come from an era which is more I guess realistic based, coming out of the Attitude Era, kind of Monday Night War era. Is it kind of going back to more character-based wrestlers getting over right now? I mean, you look at Danhausen, Warhorse, Dan the Dad, Alley Cat, all these people that have picked up gimmicks and given themselves a coat of paint outside of just who they are to kind of market themselves.
I mean, in this day and age, there are so many great athletes. They do stuff that I could never even attempt to do. So if you can't do all that stuff, you got to figure out a different way to stick out with, Ken over here with the Mr. Kennedy, right off the bat, yes, he's the guy. He could, if he didn't have that, he's just the guy in trunks. He's just a regular good wrestler. But he found that he connected with, and that's why the audience wanted to see him. I don't do any cool moves. Sometimes I go to these indies, and I'm like, dude, I have 5 or 6 things, bro. And I don't, but I can't, it's to me, but I was always that fan who was drawn to the storytelling and the everything like that. The characters.
But that's what you did with your YouTube channel. You were one of the first guys. I was like, how come no one is talking about this?
Yeah.
Right. We and we didn't have a group chat, but it was just a group of friends because I used to work at Toys R Us, and we would just sign off doing our walkies or stuff like woo woo woo, and it was underneath the radar, and management had no idea what we were doing, but we were all watching your YouTube channel and shit, in 2006, 2007.
Yeah, you just got to find something. Everyone can be a great wrestler. You have to find a way to stick out, especially now, with social media. It's great because Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff, it's free, so it's free publicity, but everyone has it. So you have to figure out your way to stand out and find your niche. And someone like Danhausen, he found it. I've never seen a Danhausen match, but I love Danhausen. I'm a fan of Danhausen without ever seeing him wrestle.
I would argue that's always been the way. The characters always ruled wrestling. It's just that I think, people looked at Hogan and they're like, oh, I got to get muscles. But I mean, if muscles were all you needed, the Warlord would have been the biggest dude ever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
People looked at Flair and they I need 30 near falls in a match. But I mean, anybody can do that. I mean, they were both all-time great characters. But I think coming up with an original character is a lot harder than just, doing 30 near falls in your match. So,
but the realism aspect, I guess, when I was at WWE, it was always stressed to us, what would you do in a real fight? This would never happen in a real fight. Man, now you've got invisible man matches and stuff like that.
God.
I mean, not going on
Art.
WWE, but and I love that. I love the fact that people are just able to express themselves and have fun.
Tell me about the bar fight you were in where you went, Mister, then the guy just.
I mean, I even think about Ophidian. It's the YouTube clip of the most illegal move ever, and it's Ophidian and Shikara doing his snake dance. Brilliant. It's art. That's the best thing ever. It's just hypnotizing, and everybody from the back comes down, and then just start. That's great. That's what I'm talking about when wrestling is story and art in itself. I wouldn't have thought about that. But even Danhausen's gimmick, how would you describe your gimmick? Beetlejuice and Conan. I would have never thought of that. Christ. I would have never put those things together to make this, and it's brilliant. So,
how do you guys